Hello, OAS family. It is time for another book review. And today I'm very excited because we are reviewing an artist that I am a big fan of. And also my father is an admirer of. And Johnson Su-sing Chow was an artist that my father really respected as he was developing his own brush painting and always studied his work. And so if you're a student of Ning Yeh, one trick that I have found is if you have a teacher that you're trying to emulate or that you are learning from and you want to progress in your own mastery, you can study your teacher's influences because oftentimes the same influences will inspire people in different ways. So you can sort of take the same source material and it will send you in a different direction, but maybe with the same qualities that you are liking when you study your teacher. So before we get into the details, the book that we're reviewing today is a book in a series. And Johnson Su-sing Chow published these 4 books in a series. The series is called Vegetables, Fruits, Insects, and Aquatic Life Paintings, and this is the volume that is specifically about insects. Also, this was a review that was done at a request of a customer of ours who is interested in books that focus on insects. So, just if you're out there and you're stalking one of the books in our library and you're trying to wonder whether or not the book will have value for you and you want to request a book review, go ahead and do that. You can send us an email and request a book review, or you can leave a comment in one of our YouTube videos. Anyway, we'd love the feedback and it will help influence what books we choose to cover next. So before we get into the details of the book, let's just talk a little bit about the generalities. The dimensions are 8¼ inches wide by 11¾ inches high. And the book has 110 pages. And the book has text explanation in both English and Chinese. Notably, because Johnson Chow immigrated to Hong Kong fairly at sort of a formidable age and then eventually came to the United States, the English in this book is actually quite good. So it's not just a quick translation. Someone thought about the English in this book and did a very good job of constructing the English explanations in the book. So at the beginning, we have an introduction. Then we get into the table of contents. And then an overview. So like Ning Yeh, Johnson Chow gets into the cultural significance of his subjects here. So it is not just a painting instruction, but also an instruction into the sort of deeper cultural meaning of the subjects. So here we see this butterfly painting. And then we'll get into butterflies here, and he starts to kind of break down the different steps of different butterflies, and you see how he renders the different insects of the different colorations. So now we see a butterfly in composition with a hydrangea, and you see the final composition here, but then the elements break down here on the right-hand side. And this is the format that we see sort of appearing throughout the book. Now we have a little section on spider. Again, a breakdown of that previous painting, the elements, showing you the elements separately. And then the hanging spider here on this side, and then the element breakdown over here on the right. So we have this ladybug composition here, and we're gonna zoom in for a closer shot of these ladybugs. You can see them there. And then again, we get this sort of ladybug and spider plant composition with the elements breakdown here. Then 5 ladybugs and the Chinese orchid. So it's interesting how whenever there are numbers that appear in a Chinese painting, there's almost always some sort of significance when it comes to feng shui or some reason why the number is chosen. So you can see here that the 5 refers to the dots that are on the ladybug. And we have a dragonfly painting. And again, an elements breakdown of the dragonfly painting. The work here, you can see there's a nice mix between sort of like this Xie style, this abstract or loose or free quality, but there also is a good use of detail when necessary in the paintings. So you can see that here in the line work of this dragonfly. Then here is a bee or wasp composition with the elements breakdown, showing that and how he renders the peach blossom that is accompanying the bee or wasp. And then here is 8 wasps, peach, and a wasp hive. Very focused, interesting composition with a lot of key elements here, and here's the elements breakdown. Mantis, very, very iconic subject in Chinese insect painting. And the breakdown. Here's another mantis painting with a yellow chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum is the 4 gentlemen subject for autumn, so very appropriate since we are recording this video during the autumn. Cricket. Then the elements breakdown for the cricket with this purple chrysanthemum. And then here's another crickets painting featuring crickets and begonia with the elements breakdown here on the right-hand side. Grasshopper with this very beautiful dynamic ear of corn. Look at the leaves on that corn, amazing. And then the elements breakdown. You get this grasshopper and grasshopper, different positions and one in flight. Grasshopper and maple leaves. Katydid. So here's the elemental breakdown for these 3 insects that are featured along with the pumpkin in that previous painting. And then here is one featuring the katydid with the grapes. And then here is, again, different positional renderings of the insect, 4 different ones. There's locust. And then the elemental breakdown for the locust with the knotgrass flowers. And here's locust with an ear of rice. Just finished painting there. And then the element breakdown. Morning glory with a longhorn beetle. And the elements breakdown. Another composition, and again more different positional renderings for this longhorn beetle. Pond skater. One thing you'll note if you've ever visited Asia is just you know, when you get to these climates where the weather is more tropical, I mean, the insects there are just amazing. They're huge and colorful, and so you can understand why they have become the subject of paintings in Chinese culture. When you go there, you're just immediately impacted by them, their activity, the noise that they make. This is 3 pond skaters on a pond with duckweed. And an elements breakdown here. And that's something I vividly remember from childhood. It's going to Taiwan, and in that tropical climate, you hear these like cicadas, and you know, you see these giant beetles. This is a snail painting. And then here's 4 different snails positionally. And then another snail painting featuring the snail and hydrangea. And then different renderings of the elements here on the right-hand side. Cicada that we just mentioned. And then elements of this painting, the cicada and the willow. And here's cicada with poplar, this time in flight. And the elements break down over here on the right-hand side. Ants. It's a very symbolic insect, at least in Western culture. Everyone's always talking about how the ants are representing hard work and teamwork and being underestimated because of their ability to carry things so much larger than they are physically. And then ants and autumn leaves, another seasonally relevant painting. Try to get a closer look at that. You can see that the detail is represented if you look close enough. And then here's an element breakdown. Frog. Now, I think that this is transitioning. This is the last painting that's featured in this book, and it's transitioning into the next section, which is aquatic life. So you get a little teaser in this book of the next subject matter, which is the aquatic life section. And that's it. So that is Insects by Johnson Su-sing Chow, and it is in a series of 4 books called Vegetables, Fruits, Insects, and Aquatic Life Paintings. We have a link to a bio for the artist in the description, so I'd encourage you to check that out. Thanks so much for listening to this book review. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this, and we wish you happy painting.